ground and dug his fingers into the dirt. "Awas!" he whimpered. "Awas!" The creature's head jerked backward, then forward, and then it screamed. Victor pushed back with his heels, into the bush, through the bush. The thing lunged at him and swiped wildly with one of its hands. He felt a rush of wind as it missed him by a hair. Victor scrambled to his feet, turned, and ran. He didn't look back, even as the awful screams burst his eardrums. He shot his rifle into the air as he ran, again and again, trying to scare it away. He ran hard and fast for what felt like hours until he burst out of Blackwood's tree line towards the only building that was lit. The fish. Chapter 1. X marks the spot. Cole couldn't remember a time when Wounded Sky First Nation offered this brand of quiet. Not when he was a child, and not since he had returned to the community after 10 years away. If he were to believe Choch, it was the calm before the storm. Cole was waiting for the storm, but it hadn't come. Yes, he had used his remaining anti-anxiety pills over the past week, but not because he'd encountered any stormy incidents like murder or a flu epidemic. Rather, he'd taken a pill upon his return to Ashley's trailer, for his friend's wake. The memory of Ashley being shot right in front of him had appeared thick and fresh. He'd taken his last pill during the gathering for Alex. As guilt reared its head at Cole's inability to save her, and as her brother, Michael, sent a barrage of glares in his direction. Deserved glares, Cole had thought. Not only because he was the last person to see her alive, but also because Alex had kissed him, and Michael knew it. Deserved, but still not easy to take. Cole hoped the stillness of the community was the quiet after the storm, not before. A collective sigh, a long breath out. Choch had been quiet too. Cole hadn't heard from the spirit being since they'd met at the ruins, when he'd given Cole textbooks instead of a ticket home, and when he told Cole that school started Monday in Wounded Sky. This was the first clear direction the spirit being had ever provided. Of course, the calm, the non-spirit being related peace, could have simply been that it was early in the morning. Cole shrugged, as though involved in a deep conversation with somebody other than himself. A boy could dream, right? Cole had a hockey stick resting against his shoulder, and a pair of skates fastened onto the stick, bouncing against his back with every step. He borrowed the hockey equipment from Brady, who had become something like his counselor, with Elder Mariah still recovering from the sickness at the clinic, and had remained something like his landlord as Cole continued to sleep at Brady's place. The skates fit about right, although there remained a legitimate concern as to whether they'd remain intact. Brady hadn't worn them for years, long enough that they had trouble finding them in his closet. "This is like an archaeological dig," Cole joked while they searched. The bigger problem? Brady was left-handed and Cole wasn't. Never mind the fact that the stick was made of wood. Cole knew where to find another stick, with the right curve for him, too, and another set of newer skates that may have fit better. But Cole couldn't bring himself to use Ashley's equipment, or to ask Brady if it would be okay, or to go back to the trailer. So, he made his way to the arena with Brady's skates and stick, and he didn't care much if the skates fit or if the stick had the wrong curve. The sun began to rise over Blackwood Forest, and the lights were on in the community hall. Cole felt drawn to it. Over the last week he kept an eye out for anything strange, a clue as to why he'd been told to stay here even though he'd stopped the murder spree and cured the virus. An influx of staff from Miko Laboratories had definitely caught his attention. They were mostly at the clinic, descending upon it after those afflicted by the illness had become healthy, thanks to Cole's blood. But they were around the community too, at the fish, the mall, and the community hall, where they'd been sleeping and where the lights were on right now. Cole took a slight detour. School didn't start for a while, and he wasn't in a rush. A security guard met him immediately upon his arrival at the community hall's front doors, and not one of Reynolds' employees either. No RMS, Reynold McCabe Security, anywhere on the man's clothing. "Can I help you?" The man's warm greeting belied his presentation, dressed all in black, and his body hard and sharp like he'd just